Good morning. Welcome to the Panthers.com Coaches Show. My name's Dave Newcombe. I'm here with Coach Tom Calomeris. Tom is the coach for men's and women's swimming. Tom, you coming off a big win Monday night over in Roanoke at Hollins University. Tell us a little bit about your win there.
Well, that's right. Monday night we got our first win for the women's program this year against Hollins, and it was especially meaningful in that this was a team that beat us pretty good last year.
Yeah.
And of course our program's just developing, so that served us very well. And the ladies swam really well. We also broke 2 school records during that meet. Our freshman Michelle Jager broke the school record for the 1,000 freestyle. And of course, our wonderful sprinter Jessie Rousey broke her own record for the 50 lower. But it was a big win.
Excellent. And so, you know, you coach the women, you coach the men. The women are in their 3rd year as a NCAA program, 1st year for the men. Talk about juggling men, women, you know, swimming. Do they practice together? Talk about the mechanics of how that's done.
Yeah, and that's. In swimming, it just goes with the territory. I mean, I've always done it that way. Other colleges I've been at with the men and women's program, we always practice together. But swimmers, they come up from the time they're very young. They're swimming with both men and women, boys and girls, through the community pool system, the YMCA or whatever it may be, country club. And so it's not a big deal. But I've always felt it's a big benefit. I mean, not only socially and just getting through those hurdles and learning how to deal with each other. But there's also a great chemistry there when you have the men and women in the pool together and working out. It's sometimes hard to put it into words, but it's a positive thing.
Yeah,
and it helps with recruiting too.
Yeah, exactly. I know when I was at other schools, it seemed like the men and women became like brothers and sisters. Yeah, you know, they help each other out, and there is that nice chemistry. So you can develop that. And so when you were at Catholic University, let's talk about your background a little bit. It's interesting. I was reading about you on the internet, and you've had an interesting career. Do you want to tell our viewing audience about you? And I know that's a little difficult sometimes.
Well, I don't know where to start, but
right.
I have to go way back. I guess I grew up like so many kids, and you know, got into swimming when I was very young. I was very fortunate. I had some great coaches, and so I was very successful as a young swimmer. I held the American record when I was 14 for butterfly events, junior national champion, and senior national. So I had a great career as a young swimmer, and I was fortunate enough to go to the University of Maryland. Great times there. My coach there is still my best friend through the years. We had a great relationship. And then I went into law enforcement. I spent 20 years with the Prince George's County, Maryland Police Department. Started out as a patrolman and worked my way up, became a detective, and I did investigations in all units, all sorts of. I helped start the first child abuse unit in Prince George's County. I also was part of the first missing persons division, helping to start that as an investigator. Spent a number of years in the juvenile division, just moved around. I also did investigations, a background for the police academy for years. So just a well-rounded experience there. I enjoyed it. And then I'd done some coaching before I went into the police department. And after retiring from the police department, I was asked to go to Catholic University as an assistant coach. And one thing led to another, and they asked me to take over the program. I was there 17 years. We had a very successful run there, winning 3 national Catholic championships, I think 5 conference championships in 2 different conferences. And had some great swimmers for me. Matter of fact, I just had some good news the other day. One of my former champion swimmers at Catholic U has just been named the new head swimming coach at Notre Dame University out in South Bend.
South Bend. That's a great
Matt Tallman.
Great position. Excellent.
Yeah, so that's very rewarding. And then we retired again.
So
moved down to the valley. And then
Lexington.
Opportunity
You're in Lexington, Virginia.
My wife went to law school there. And then the opportunity opened up here, and Ferrum was gracious enough to give me an opportunity to go back coaching again.
Great. So, yeah.
Here we are.
Here we are, and while you were at Catholic, you were Coach of the Year 4 or 5 times there, and I noticed that. So you really have a great career. And
thank you.
How do you feel about Ferrum and your position now? How do you think?
I'm very optimistic. Yeah. I think, as you may know, when I came in here, I think we had 5 or 6 girls on the women's team, and no, we didn't have a men's program at all.
Right.
We started a club team last year, and that's grown. And now this year the men are NCAA. We just had our first men's meet about 2 weeks ago, I guess. So programs developing. I was very pleased with our recruiting efforts these past 10 or 11 months. And things we're way ahead of schedule right now this year in our recruiting efforts.
Right.
I'm bringing in a couple outstanding junior college transfers in January.
Good.
One of the fellows is probably one of the top recruits in the country, actually.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Getting him in January.
Boy,
so things are looking good.
That's great.
Yeah.
You know, I for fans that have never seen swimming, I think it's a great spectator sport. It's exciting, and you know, so come out to our Schwartz gym pool. Done a lot of work on that facility. You don't know how much we've done until if you would have seen it 10 years ago and seen it now, it's a lot different. But you know, it is what it is. Now we only have a couple of home meets.
This year we have one. We have one left in January because of the scheduling, and next year we'll have a lot more home meets.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your swimmers. You have a nice roster full of women, and you know, you mentioned a couple of names there, Michelle Yeager and your sprinter, Jess Rousey, are 2. You have some seniors and freshmen and sophomores. Did you recruit at Ferrum? You know, were there swimmers here before you got here?
On campus?
Yeah.
Well, particularly with the men.
Right. Yeah. You have
because last year, starting as a club team, you know, coming in late as I did.
Right.
Yeah, we literally recruited 5 gentlemen off campus. Yes. I'd walk around, talk to people, and do you know how to swim?
Right.
Oh, you do? Well, you're on the team.
Right.
Be at the pool at 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah, that's great.
And they've done just a great job. I mean, all of them. I mean, and it was a real, you know, it was a teaching process for many of them. One of them, Howden Hoover,
right,
who's actually a senior.
I know Howden.
Yeah,
right.
As a senior, he's come along so fast.
Yep.
Wish I would have him for a couple more years, but he's a senior. But
Granby High School out of Norfolk.
Yeah.
And so good. Well, we wish you a lot of luck. I know.
Thank you.
Where are we going next? The 7th, we've got to go up to D.C. with both teams.
We got a big meet up there in Washington, D.C. at Gallaudet. We're swimming. It's a tri-meet. We're swimming Wells College of New York.
College.
And, of course, Gallaudet.
Right.
And it'll be men and women competing. And Gallaudet's a team that beat us last year by 2 points.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that. And they had a great recruiting year this year, from what I see. And so that's going to be a lot of fun. And it's going to be a great trip for our young men and women to go to the nation's capital and have that experience.
Yeah. So Tom, Coach Cal, I guess your team calls you Coach Cal, right?
Yeah.
And
used to my face.
Right. Right. What, you know, in coaching Division III, you know, you're at a startup program essentially for both programs. It takes a lot of energy. You have a lot of contacts. So you're recruiting, you're coaching, you're promoting. Talk about the everyday duties of a Division III swim coach that coaches men and women.
Well, it would be much the same for any coach, any sport.
Right.
And it's a little different for me in that I'm also the aquatic director.
Right.
So not only am I dealing with the coaching duties, but also the operation of the pool and coordinating. Coordinating the activities, supervising the lifeguards,
right,
and that sort of thing. But other than that, the coaching it's made up of running a successful swimming program. You know. dealing with the athletes and their everyday situations and problems, teaching and coaching in the pool, developing them. It's a constant learning process, especially in an early program, and motivation. And of course, recruiting just never stops.
Right.
I mean, you're just always on the phone or writing letters, and I do a lot of my recruiting the old-fashioned way, you might say, through personal contacts, connections, a lot of telephones, and I'm a big believer. I recruit the parents first, and then the young men and women many times. Yeah. But it's just that ongoing process, right all through it falls in nice with the calendar. Certain things you have to do certain months, and certain things you have to do in the summer, and then of course it comes together in the spring. So, but it's fun. Yeah.
Well, Tom, it's been good having you on the show here. Let's see. Next week is Thanksgiving, so we won't be here, and I wish you a happy Thanksgiving. Will you be bringing them back early? Your kids?
No,
will they have a week?
We're not. We're gonna send them back to their home teams.
To their home pools,
and they're gonna be working out with their high schools. And we're gonna see how that goes this year.
Right. And then the 7th will be your next meet.
Yeah.
And all right. Well,
good.
Until we'll skip a week, and then the following week we'll have Coach Dave Harper. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Our director and producer Gary Holden tells me it's Bill Tharp, our men's basketball coach, who came off a big home win against Emory and Henry last night, and things are really shaping up for both men's and women's basketball team. Our women came off a big win at Roanoke College, scored over 100 points, and a lot of excitement and enthusiasm about those teams. And then wrestling, our newest sport on campus, although I don't know if I should announce that we're going to start up a women's field hockey team here. So that's another thing, and that just came out, I think, yesterday, the day before. So might have some field hockey and swimming.
Sure.
Or field hockey and lacrosse.
Sure.
So we had a team in the early 2000s, and now we're bringing it back. So that's exciting. Ferrum sports are growing and developing, and never a dull moment for our athletic administrators, Gary Holden, who's producing and directing this show, and Abe Nath, the athletic director. Until 2 weeks from now, this is Dave Newcombe saying so long.